Hey all you Simonites, it's Simon Simaan, owner and broker of the Simon Simaan Group, right here inside air conditioning. It's hot outside, so we want to sweat, and we're at the Kessler collection right here in Orlando, Florida, and we are with the COO of the Kessler collection. You guessed it right, Mr. Mark Kessler, and we're going to talk about hospitality. Mark,
welcome, Simon.
Thank
Great
you so
to have
much.
you back.
Of
Good
course.
to see you again.
So, how long have you been in hospitality?
My whole life, actually.
Whole life. Okay.
My whole life. Actually, I grew up in Atlanta. I was born here in Orlando, Florida, actually Winter Park Hospital. But growing up, my parents always had parties at the house. And guess who was there cooking, cleaning up? My sister and I. And we're always in the kitchen cleaning up after the big mess and everything like that. So really been growing up around entertaining my whole life, and it's been part of our family, whether it's family reunions in Savannah, Georgia, or parties at my mom and dad's house growing up in Atlanta. We're always doing some kind of entertaining.
And you majored in hospitality out of Cornell, right?
I did. I went to undergrad at SMU, got an undergrad in business, but then spent a couple years working in the industry and decided I wanted to pursue the hospitality business, and went to Cornell and got my Master's of Management Hospitality 2-year program. When I did it, back in 2001, I graduated.
And tell me something, obviously you're in the hotel industry. How has COVID changed how hotels are operated? I mean, obviously it's a very scary time for you guys.
Well, we're still kind of going through that, Simon. Everybody's kind of figuring out where do we go from here, because obviously the first thing everybody did is, many people closed down hotels, including ourselves. We closed down our hotels for a little while, and just trying to figure out what the situation was and what COVID was and how to deal with it in the future. So obviously coming back online to open our hotels, we had a lot of certain safety protocols, whether they were CDC related, Merit related, or obviously Kessler related mandates, whether around cleaning and social distancing and all that kind of thing. And then obviously our great performers, our employees still had to feel safe at work, coming to work. And so really going forward, it's like, how do we get back to delivering those experiences and delivering, whether it's the culinary experiences, whether it's just the guest experience of being in the hotel or staying in the hotel, of turn down service and certain amenities in the rooms. How do you get all those things back in place so that when we're saying, hey, we're delivering a luxury boutique hotel experience, that's what you're truly getting? Because whether it was labor shortages you weren't able to deliver on, or whatever it may be, we've had to get back into, let's call it the norm of operating to certain people's expectations, and that everybody's heard on the news and whatnot. There's been this revenge travel, everybody getting out and having to deal with the delayed flights and higher gas prices. But when they get to your hotel or to your restaurant, you want them to have a great experience. And so we're getting back into really the core of hospitality, which is delivering great service, a great product, and memorable experiences for people to come back again. And our tagline is really inspiring places. So we want to make sure that our places are inspiring no matter what you're coming there for, whether it's like the dining or a spa experience or even staying the weekend.
I mean, I've never had a bad experience staying in any of your hotels. They're always super clean. The service is phenomenal. I mean, you guys always set the bar higher and higher. So I guess that kind of helped you get through COVID, and then now getting out of COVID, and then everybody traveling. But just what you guys are dealing with, I think you're doing an excellent job across the board.
Thank you. Yeah, we try, and obviously, just like everybody knows, there's been challenges in many industries, and service industry is certainly one of those. In certain areas and aspects of the hotel are more difficult than ever. But again, if guests come here, they're going to pay $300, $400, $500, $600 a night. They expect a certain level of experience, and that's what our goal is, delivering that seamless experience that makes you want to come back. And COVID or no COVID, we've got to make sure that we deliver that experience.
I mean, what other challenges, obviously, for hospitality do you see in the future coming up?
Well, I think the staffing thing will always be a challenge in our industry, whether it's the food and beverage or the hotel piece. The labor component is kind of one of the biggest challenges. So we're really looking, and a lot of other companies are looking to technology in order to make whether the back of house systems, things that happen behind the scenes that the guests don't see, or in front of the house where the guest experience happens to make the guest experience better. So what kind of technology can we deploy? What technology maybe are we already using, but we can lean on our partners for our enhanced technology or systems that we're not using now currently that we can use. So, and we're actually working on a couple of those initiatives right now. We'll be rolling them out later this year and early next year. But again, things to make both our employees, our great performers, a better place to work, an easier place to work, and for the guest experience. So when you check in, they'll know your name, they know your preferences, maybe they know your table, those kind of things that make the whole guest experience better. So really leaning on technology, because we'll continue to have a labor challenge, because as minimum wage rises and other industries become more and more competitive for labor force, that you got to see how we can use technology to, just like all the rest of the business, to make it a better experience all the way around.
And talent, like you mentioned, I want to go to Greenville because I heard that you have a Michelin star chef that came down from New York.
We do.
And he's leading up the restaurant in Greenville.
Yeah. His name is Nico, a wonderful Frenchman from New York. And actually he, like many others that left the Northeast or certain cities, is they got fed up with either where they're living or whatever reason, whether it's the cost of living or they just wanted a different lifestyle. So he and his wife moved their kids down to Greenville, South Carolina. They just went to visit there on a weekend and fell in love with Greenville and said, hey, we're moving here. And he moved there without a job. And luckily he was available. And when we were recruiting for a chef, he applied. And the way that we interview chefs is we actually do a taste testing. So we'll give them certain ingredients or certain menus and say, hey, prepare these 2 or 3 courses, 4 courses. And so he did a phenomenal job and wowed our team. Unfortunately, I had other plans, I couldn't be there. But we actually... Is
there a way I can apply for this position of eating all the food?
Actually, if you come with me in 2 weeks' time, we're going up to Greenville. We're doing a tasting, a menu tasting, which we do before we open all of our restaurants. So kind of fine-tune the menu. So if you want to come up with me in 2 weeks, I'll send you the invite.
What's the criteria? Big belly?
No, you just have to have a good appetite and you have to get scorecards and your honest feedback. But we're doing that in 2 weeks. So we're very fortunate to get Chef Nico with us in Greenville, and we're very excited for what he and his team are going to deliver.
It's great. Every single experience is wonderful in your hotels. So tell me, what do you look for yourself when you're looking for a hotel for you and your wife?
Well, we just got back from a vacation, so it depends on if we really need to relax.
Give us some tips. I mean, you're in the hotel business forever, so tell us, what do you look for in a good hotel?
So I look, for me, just the comforts that we're looking for. You're looking for a clean room, a great location. It's accessible, you have to take 2 or 3 flights to get there. I mean, for us, we want it easy to get to. So the great thing about our hotels, Simon, is being in the Southeast, and we got great weather. A lot of them are drive-to destinations, or you can take a short flight, an hour or 2 to get to most of our hotels. The one exception being our hotel in Beaver Creek, Colorado, but most anything we get to is easily accessible. So again, where we go, Diane and I like to do a little bit of shopping, so we like the place where you can do some shopping and some other things outside of just the resort, because we'll like to lay on the beach, or you want to go on a hiking trip, but you also want to explore the local shops and understand. We enjoy art and collect art, and so I always look for some nice art galleries wherever we go, and I'm a little bit of a watch collector, so I'm always looking for some nice watch shops or jewelry shops where we go.
I mean, when you walk into a hotel lobby, that first initial experience, obviously you're looking at things that common people like myself who are not in the industry are not looking for. So typically, what is that? The feeling, the sense, the smell, the cleanliness, the service, all that stuff kind of adds up, right?
All the above. I mean, they say that a guest makes up their mind in the first basically 2 minutes at your property. So if you've got valet service, the minute you valet your car, they take your luggage, you check in at the front desk, and you check in your room, usually that dictates how somebody's stay is going to be at the hotel. And so obviously nobody's perfect, and if there's some guest recovery to be had, how efficiently and how quickly was that done. But obviously we always strive to deliver great experiences. But no matter where you go, you're always looking for those things, like you said, those sensory experiences, how it looks, how it smells, the taste of the food, whatever it may be. But usually in those first couple minutes, people make up their mind. So that's why it's very important. So when we have our front desk agents greet a guest and our valet team greet a guest, it's important that they that they welcome them and they have a smile on their face, greet them by their name. All those kind of things matter. So I look at that, and then I'm into design and food, and so I look for all those kind of details of how the hotel is put together. And I know this last vacation Di and I just went on to Grand Cayman. We picked the hotel because of a lot of the reviews we read online, and we got there, it met those expectations. So I think, obviously we all know social media is the new norm of marketing, right? So I think it's important that as a consumer and as a brand that you've got a great presence and your brand is consistent in the delivery of the concept with what you're marketing. So.
And how do you guys pick your sites for your hotels?
Like I mentioned before, is sometimes it's where we've been, sometimes it's where our guests have been and say, hey, you need to be here. And so it's a combination. I mean, we don't necessarily have a strategy to say, okay, these are the 25 locations where we want to be. Yeah, we'll have 3 or 4 maybe cities that we're looking at, and then we'll have another 3 or 4 or 5 people say, hey, you need to check out this city or this hotel or this location or talk to these people. So a lot of it's just can be referrals, word of mouth.
Well, I hope there's Grand Bohemian in every major city in the United States.
Right.
Think that'll happen down the road, or what's your plan?
So our target has always been, we've been successful in being in tertiary and secondary markets like Orlando, Greenville, Asheville, North Carolina, St. Augustine, those smaller tertiary markets where our goal is obviously to be the #1 hotel in the market from our product and a rate point of view. So being #1 is important to us. And yeah, there's some other great cities. There's the New Yorks and the Miamis, and there's a lot of competition. And sometimes people, the kind of the value that you get for the real estate is not there like we would get in maybe Asheville. But it's amazing. Like if you look at a lot of the polls on 50 best places to live in the U.S. or best places to travel, a lot of the markets that we're in are on those polls: Savannah, Charleston, Asheville, North Carolina, Greenville, South Carolina. So we really look for those more of the secondary and tertiary markets, which is why, and obviously in the Southeast is huge for that, which is why we've been successful. Because whether it was during 9/11 or during COVID or other places when people still wanted to travel, they couldn't find somewhere they could jump in a car and drive. That's important. And we are a smaller company, and obviously keeping our kind of rule is if we can jump on a plane and be there in 2 hours, that's generally a good location for us. But like I said, we do have one property in Colorado, but most of our properties are here in the Southeast.
As far as like improving your brand, what else are you doing to kind of set yourself apart from other people?
Well, you've always got to keep your product fresh and keep your product new. So if we kind of talk about the physical assets, we spend a lot of money and time and attention, and with architects and our contractors building a beautiful product up front, an inspiring product, so that we can have a beautiful building to work with. And then once you get in that hotel, it's all the furnitures and the pictures you put in the hotel. We custom design all those, and they're tailored to each hotel. So those have to be, depending on how busy the hotel is and the restaurant is, you've got to keep the property fresh. And our engineering team and our housekeeping team does a great job of keeping our properties clean and maintained. Just like your home, if you let your home go and the value of your home goes down, so we keep our hotels in tip-top shape. So that's an important thing to what we do. And then obviously our culinary team, they do a great job of sourcing local products, seasonal products, so to keep the menu fresh and creative and new, but also keep some staple products on there. So all the way around, you just got to be on top of your game. And we hire a great management team. We've got a good team here at corporate that oversees all the different metrics that we measure. The profitability of our hotels, how delighted our guests are, and if we've got issues, then we obviously work with whether it's the local team or here at corporate to come up with solutions to make sure that we've got a great product that we're delivering every time.
So the future of hospitality looks very bright on the Kessler horizon.
It does. I mean, obviously, we've been a developer all our life. We rarely buy hotels. We'll buy an old building to do an adaptive reuse, like power plants in the courthouse in St. Augustine. With this building we bought in Newburgh, North Carolina, built in the early 1900s as an Elks Lodge, a social lodge. But other than that, we really build from ground up. So obviously, construction prices and interest rates are obviously play big into what we do. But we're not a seller of our assets. So even through all the cycles that we've been through over the last 20 years, we've always except for a short period, been building and developing, because at the end of the day, we buy these assets, build these assets to hold and keep in our brand and build our collection. Yeah, we've sold a few over the years, but we've really maintained the brand of those, and we've kept the management of them. But longer term, we'll always be a builder, developer, and be hopefully located here in Orlando, Florida.
Always. The only thing I know about hotels is staying there,
Right.
eating at the hotels, relaxing by the pool, and obviously playing Monopoly and buying up hotels. But you're
Right.
doing this in real life. You're a real lucky guy.
Yeah, it's fun.
Well, guys, every home has a story. Let us tell yours. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And if you have any great hotel ideas, chime in, comment them below. And if you have any great site location for the Kessler collection, also reach out. They're always looking. All right, guys, let's go.